Hey Crosspoint, Pastor Darren here. I hope you are doing well. So this week's sermon was about discipleship. What do you think of when you hear the word discipleship? Maybe you think about Jesus and his disciples. They're all gathered around the campfire while he teaches. Or maybe you think about the Great Commission from Matthew 28. Go therefore and make disciples. But what does that mean? Go make disciples. You see, discipleship is an action word. It's not who you are, it's what you do. I think we often overcomplicate what discipleship really is. In its simplest form, all discipleship is, it's Christ-centered leadership development. Discipleship is all about multiplying yourself or reproducing yourself. Now, when I mention the word multiplication, a few things might pop into your head. For example, you might think of math. 3 times 4 is 12, or 8 times 2 is 16. Maybe the word multiplication, maybe it has you thinking about family. I met my wife in high school. We fell in love and we were married and yada, yada, yada. And now we're a family of 5 with the hopes that one day our children will have children. And what started out as 2 will now have exponentially grown into a much larger family. Now that's multiplication. Now, how many of you would like to see multiplication in your finances? I know I would, because when it comes to finances, we know that multiplication causes our money to grow, not incrementally, but exponentially grow. But discipleship is not about numbers. It's about a legacy. Merriam-Webster defines legacy as something transmitted by or received from an ancestor or predecessor or from the past. Whether you know it or not, you are passing a legacy on. Your legacy is passed on to your kids, to your friends, your coworkers, your church, your community. We will all leave a mark. The challenge is building a legacy that lasts, one that will lead to exponential growth in other people's lives. A Christ-centered legacy is about reproducing the best of us in others. Multiplication is the result of the legacy we leave behind. So how do we become a multiplying leader? How do we become that legacy maker that Jesus talked about in the Great Commission? Well, the first thing we got to do is we got to allow God to use us. It starts right there. And Isaiah 6:8 says this, and I have heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send and who will go for us? Then I said, here I am, send me. Remember the sinner's prayer you said back in the day? Dear Jesus, I'm a sinner in need of a Savior. I take my life and I place it in your hands. I make you the Lord of my life. But when you make God the Lord of your life, we're saying, God, shape me, mold me, prune me, make me more like you. John 15:5 says this, yes, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. So God is looking for those who are faithful to go, faithful to be used. You see, God will accomplish His will with or without us. So be careful when you say that. Be careful when you say, Lord, use me, because God will use you. He has a design for us. He has designed us all to reproduce ourselves. So our legacy building starts with the posture of, Lord, here I am, send me. And then realizing that if we remain faithful, He will produce much fruit in us. The second thing we need to do to become a legacy maker is that we must be willing to learn from and teach others. This is the Paul and Timothy model. And I'll say this is what it means. We should all have a Paul in our lives and a Timothy. In other words, we should have a mentor who helps guide and direct us. And we should have someone we are mentoring, who we're teaching and helping them grow in their faith. And we can't continue to get and not give back. And we can't continue to give and not get, because then we'll get burned out. Now 2 Timothy 2:2 says, you have heard me teach these things that have been confirmed by many reliable witnesses. Now teach these truths to other trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others. So Paul's saying, Timothy, I have taught you this, not so that you can just have this knowledge to yourself, but so that you can go out and teach others who will go out and teach others. So if we do these two things, if we allow God to use us, here I am, send me, and if we can commit to learning and teaching others, growing in our faith, we will build a strong foundation for a legacy that will last many years. God bless you. May the Lord be with you and guide and direct your conversations during a life group.